I want to ask you about some of the federal charges against you, because I want to give you a chance to respond to those. I want to read you some of what was in the federal indictment against you. It says Santos enlisted a Queens-based political consultant to communicate with prospective donors on his behalf. He allegedly directed person one to falsely tell donors that, among other things, their money would be used to help elect Santos to the House, including by purchasing television advertisements. In reliance on these false statements, two donors contributed each $25,000. And among other things, Santos allegedly used the funds to make personal purchases, including designer clothing, to withdraw cash, to discharge personal debts, and to transfer money to his associates.
Again, I'll keep it simple. It's an ongoing investigation. It would be irresponsible for me to sit here and go over any of the indictment with you, right? So to save time and move on to probably more productive conversation, you can go off of your assumptions, and I'll have my opportunity to prove my innocence in the court of law.
So, but you are...
I'm not litigated in the media.
Right. But you are going to challenge those
of course.
Allegations. And also the allegation that you obtained pandemic relief money while pulling in a six-figure salary.
I will be challenging everything, yes.
And you don't want to talk about any of it?
Absolutely.
All right. It's probably good legal advice. All right, so let's talk about some of the dollars a little bit. $700,000. It's been asked about a lot. You loaned it to your campaign. The question has been, where did it come from? How did George Santos have $700,000?
I worked at political, I had a consulting firm, and we'll leave it at that, because that's also part of this entire investigation with the House Ethics Committees and with the FEC. So again, more ongoing investigations. That for me to sit here and unpack anything, it would be me litigating this in the media when I actually have my legal team litigating this really well.
But that one isn't being charged yet, right?
No, it's not being charged there. It's just an investigation, because it's nothing more than hearsay.
Right. Well, that's why I'm asking about it.
But there's an investigation in House Ethics Committee on that.
And what is the status of the House Ethics? Have you heard from them?
I would never discuss House Ethics Committee.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
So communication with them, you don't want to talk about any of that?
We comply with everything they ask.
How about a question that happened during the campaign that I think was very interesting about money that was spent in an Italian restaurant? You know about this one. This restaurant you liked.
El Bacco.
El Bacco. This Italian restaurant.
Great restaurant in Queens. I encourage everybody to go there.
You spent over $25,000 there, and a lot of it in increments of $199.99. And the speculation is the reason there were all of those smaller charges was so you could be just under the $200 campaign disclosure number.
Okay, so that also creates a conspiracy narrative, right? That George Santos was actually filing his own FEC reports, which is not true. You hire a fiduciary to do that, right? So to save time and to be as short with this as possible is I wasn't responsible for that. I discharged all the duties of FEC filings to a fiduciary who was hired and did the paperwork. I wasn't aware of how these were done. This was an error of filing coming from the fiduciary with a coding, apparently. This is how it's been explained to me, which creates an error, and they didn't catch the error, and it generated all those duplicitous $199.99, $199.99, which obviously I would question the same way. What's up here? But this has been rectified ever since, but nobody seems to look at the fact that errors occur and everywhere. I mean, look, the Pentagon had an accounting error in billions of dollars in aid to Ukraine. Right? But then when you get the explanation of what that was, it was just because of the way they were doing valuations on tanks. And so there's an explanation for everything, but if we're going to sit here and spin it to create a negative perception, it hurts people, especially me. I have to go fight for my innocence, but when I have the media besieging me, creating a narrative, imagine pulling a jury pool to go and be fair.
But that's why I want to give you a chance to respond to this, right? I'm not pointing fingers.
One interview.
Right. That's true. But I'm telling you, these are all allegations you're familiar with. None of this is surprises to you, and things that I figured you might want a chance to respond to, something like that. Has the fiduciary, who that person was, been made public?
Of course, yeah. I mean, it was made public in very...
Who was the person who...
I don't... Look, I'd rather not get into doxing anybody on national television. It's been printed about extensively who my treasurer at the time was. She was treasurers of many other candidates.
And she's the one who accounted for all the...
Made the errors, and it was fixed by the new folks taking care of the treasury of the campaign.
So were there any, when you look back on it, putting aside, we'll talk more generally about personal fibs, but let's talk when it comes to the campaign and the dollars and how you raised money. Anything you look back on in terms of your campaign and say, oh, you know, I probably shouldn't have done that?
Well, as far as I go, I've never taken a dollar from anybody that wasn't legitimate, that wasn't for the intent of running the campaign, right? I
No
won.
personal expenses.
No, I won. No, absolutely not. And I've been able to.
No designer clothes.
I've been able to dispel this. I did not take money from my campaign for personal use. This is one of the first things that we were able to dispel with hard evidence to the ethics committee, and you know we sent that there, right? Not to get too into detail. So the point being here is, had I deviated all of this money from the campaign, I wouldn't have won. We spent every single penny to win. We won. It was a strategic campaign. We were successful. The reality is look, even let's put it aside that if my opponent were so savvy, he could have and should have done due diligence.
Well, and the media has taken responsibility for not doing more due diligence on you as well.
Not just on me, right? But then if you look at this now, ever since me, right, it's great that I see that now the media is even calling out the Democrats who do it far more often than Republicans, even here in New York, starting with assembly people, starting with state Senate candidates.
They do what? Sorry.
Oh, I mean, you have the two members of the New York State Assembly with litanies of lies from I graduated from Brown for the last 20 years. And
comparable to yours, though?
I mean, graduating from Brown for the last 20 years, being an elected official, she's lied as an elected official continuously to her constituents for what, 20 years? I have behaved nothing but ethically as a member of Congress, right? Anything that I've done, I've apologized for. I think insecurities got into the play, and you know, I can't explain it. It's stupid, right? But the reality is, my conduct as a member of Congress has been above reproach.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.